You fought for our freedom, and now we'll fight for your quality of life. We thank you for your service. You've made enough sacrifices. We won't let your hearing be another. We are Audiology Associates.
We never forget our fallen. I'm Bill Reynolds. I'm Director of Veterans Affairs. I write stories of our local veterans. I interview them, collect their photographs.
I knew that my efforts here were never in vain.
And now we're shifting gears to do a video series so that you can meet these veterans up close and personal.
Some shrapnel came into my lower left leg. It fractured my fibula in 7 places.
Please join me in honoring these great Americans.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I wanted to be prepared for life, and I know that the military, the Marine Corps, is going to prepare me for life's trials and tribulations.
At 18 years old, James Allison wanted to look past Santa Clarita and explore the globe.
I was looking forward to what they call Westpac tours, going to Japan, Thailand, and seeing the world in that sense, and I really wanted to join the Marine Corps and serve my country. It
was a peaceful time between the Clinton and Bush administrations.
I signed up when I was 17 years old, and so I sold that pitch to my mom as well, and so did the recruiter, where he said, this is peacetime, there's no need to worry. With her acceptance, I got to sign in a year in advance.
His ship-out date was September 10th, 2001.
On that Monday, September 10th, I had some paperwork issues. The next day was September 11th, 2001, when the Twin Towers got hit.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened.
It almost seemed surreal sitting there and looking, because I was only 18, just 3 months after my 18th birthday, sitting there and thinking to myself, like, is this what I'm going to get into?
Today our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America.
I remember sitting there and almost considering calling up my recruiter and saying, hey, pick me up, but I didn't. And I thought to myself, I said I was going to do this a year ago, and it didn't matter what the consequences were. When I signed that dotted line, I signed up in the event of war, I will go. I stayed that night, and then the next day on Wednesday, September 12th, I left to go to boot camp.
In January 2003, James came home to tell his folks about some news he had received. He wasn't going to Japan after all.
I drove back here to Santa Clarita, and I told my folks that I'm not going to Japan anymore. I'm going to Iraq. And it was a very emotional time for my family.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
I thought to myself, what an amazing opportunity. As fearful as it was, to know that if I do survive this, if I make it through, me and my guys too, not just myself, but if we all make it through, how impactful and meaningful that could be to be a part of something like this in historical relevance.
James didn't show an ounce of fear. He held on to a sense of accomplishment to get him through his first few monts. But it was soon time to take on Saddam Hussein.
When we were going over there and take over his dictatorship, I felt that pride too, to know that I was with a group of people who are willing to risk their lives so that others can live better lives.
James was in Kuwait for 1 month. Then he got word he was heading to Baghdad.
We hit one of Saddam's bridges, and that was one of our first major conflicts. And at that time, I got to taste mortar rounds for the first time. We were able to suspend the enemy's fire and move along north and secure that bridge. And as we continued in, our main objective was Saddam's palace. I remember when we got into the gates, it was kind of like the evaluation of war was starting to occur all again. And just because things were starting to quiet down, once we got over into our target, the enemy took back a little bit, and it was getting really hot out in the day, but you could still hear the gunshots and the explosions over the big wall that we were surrounded from the palace.
Soon the conflict at Saddam Hussein's palace came to an end.
At around 8:30 p.m. Baghdad time, United States military forces captured Saddam Hussein alive. He was found near a farmhouse outside the city of Tikrit in a swift raid.
And when the Iraqi president was finally captured, our American troops were celebrated by the Iraqis.
People would come around to us and give us congratulations and give us support and say, thank you for being here. They would say that our president was good. They would say, America is good. They would say, thank you for being here. Thank you for protecting us. We thought such a tremendous success for the future of Iraq when we were leaving there, because they had all the support, and as we were leaving, I thought to myself, wow, I can't believe I got to be a part of this.
James and his crew moved on to Japan, but they weren't there for long. Soon it became clear they were needed in Fallujah, Iraq.
Over there, in April of 2004, we had some major conflict in the city where some UN reporters were taken. We were assigned to go into the city and provide protection and try to return those bodies back to us. We ended up doing a month-long siege of the city.
On March 20th, 2005, while on foot patrol in Ramadi, a firefight erupted and James was seriously wounded.
A piece of metal, some shrapnel, came into my lower left leg. It fractured my fibula in 7 places. Baghdad was my first surgery, my second one was in Frankfurt, Germany, and my third one was back in Washington, D.C.
After 5 months of intense physical therapy, James headed home and honorably discharged on September 11th, 2005.
So after the military, with that ethos of wanting to continue to spread the message of my fallen comrades and those who are still alive today, I still wanted to get active in community involvement, and I just didn't feel I was engaged in the community the way that I should.
Back home, James took several jobs, but through his GI Bill, he attended California State University, Northridge, majoring in recreation and tourism management.
I graduated with honors there with a 3.5 GPA as the Outstanding Veteran Recipient as well of 2011.
Today, James volunteers as an Associate Youth Director at First Presbyterian Church of Newhall. He hopes to one day attend Fuller Seminary in Pasadena, where he will become a missionary.
Yes, I fully believe that my military experience made me a better person, because I wouldn't be nearly as involved or have leadership opportunities that I do today without all of the tools that I received while serving in the military.
You kept us safe. You fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn. We want you to hear us when we say, thank you for your service. We are Audiology Associates.